There's something special about you. Yes, you, sitting there listening to this. You may not realize it yet, but no one on this planet is quite like you. You are unique, completely, utterly, and undeniably one of a kind. In a world that often encourages us to blend in, today we're diving deep into why your individuality is not just important, it's your superpower. So let's get into it. Grab a seat and let's embrace the power of being unapologetically, uniquely you. Think for a moment about this. Out of the billions of people who have lived on Earth, past and present, no one has ever experienced life exactly the way you do. Your story, your thoughts, your experiences, and your dreams, they belong to you, and only you. Yet, so often we find ourselves doubting that uniqueness. We compare ourselves to others and we ask, am I enough? Or why can't I be more like them? Society is filled with these subtle and sometimes not so subtle messages telling us that we need to fit in to be accepted. But what if we've had it all wrong? The truth is, blending in only dulls your shine. When you try to be like everyone else, you lose touch with the very essence that makes you special. Today we're going to explore not just why it's important to embrace your uniqueness, but how doing so can radically transform your life. Let's start with something simple but incredibly powerful. Your individuality is your gift. The world doesn't need more copies, it needs originals. It needs diversity of thought, creativity, and passion. Imagine a world where everyone thought the same way, looked the same, and acted the same. Innovation would disappear, progress would stall. Change only happens when individuals step out and bring something different to the table. Think about the people you admire. Whether they're leaders, creators, or changemakers. What makes them stand out? It's their willingness to lean into their individuality, even when it's uncomfortable. They've made peace with the fact that they're different, and learned to harness that difference into something extraordinary. Take the example of Steve Jobs. He wasn't just another tech entrepreneur. He embraced his unconventional thinking, his vision, and his passion for design, and that's what led to the creation of one of the most influential companies in the world, Apple. If he had conformed to the traditional expectations of the tech industry, the world might never have experienced the revolutionary products that came from his unique approach. So, how do you start embracing your uniqueness? How do you tune out the noise of what everyone else thinks you should be, and start embracing who you truly are? Let's break it down into actionable steps. Step 1. Let go of comparison. The first and most crucial step is letting go of comparison. We've all been there, scrolling through social media, comparing our behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. But here's the reality, no one's life is perfect. What you see online, or even in real life, is often just the surface. When you compare yourself to others, you're not seeing the full picture. So instead of looking outward for validation, start looking inward. Focus on your journey, your goals, and your strengths. The only person you should ever compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. Step 2. Discover what makes you different. The next step is understanding what makes you different. What are your passions? What are the things that light you up inside? What do people compliment you on that you might not even notice about yourself? Start by identifying your strengths and interests. Think back to moments when you felt most alive. Was it when you were creating something, helping someone, solving a complex problem? Your uniqueness often hides in those moments of pure joy and flow. Remember, your individuality isn't just about your talents, it's also about your quirks, your preferences, and even your flaws. Those things that make you stand out, even if they feel awkward or different, are what makes you, you. Step 3. Own your flaws. We all have imperfections. But what if I told you that those flaws you're so worried about are actually part of your unique charm? Embracing your uniqueness means accepting every part of yourself, the good, the bad, and the quirky. Maybe you're too loud, or maybe you laugh too hard. Maybe you take your time with things while others rush through life. These aren't flaws, they're features of your individuality. Think of it this way. The world doesn't need another version of someone else, it needs you, flaws and all. Once you start embracing your uniqueness, something incredible happens. You stop worrying about fitting in, and you begin to truly live. Benefit 1. Increased confidence. When you accept and embrace who you are, you naturally begin to build confidence. You're no longer chasing someone else's idea of success. Instead, you're creating your own path. You realize that you don't need anyone else's approval. Your value comes from within. This kind of confidence doesn't just make you feel better, it radiates outward, impacting your relationships, your work, and your overall well-being. Benefit 2. Authentic connections. Here's another benefit. When you embrace your uniqueness, you attract people who genuinely appreciate you for who you are. No more pretending or trying to fit into molds that don't suit you. Authenticity attracts authenticity. When you show up as your true self, you create deeper, more meaningful connections with others. You give them permission to do the same. That's how real friendships, partnerships, and communities are built. Benefit 3, personal fulfillment. At the end of the day, the ultimate benefit of embracing your uniqueness is personal fulfillment. Living a life true to yourself brings a sense of peace and joy that can't be found when you're constantly trying to live up to someone else's expectations. When you lean into your individuality, you create a life that reflects your values, your passions, and your goals. And that, my friends, is true success. Part 4, real-life example. Let's talk about a real-world example of someone who fully embraced their uniqueness. Look at someone like Lady Gaga. She built a career by fully leaning into her eccentricities. People told her she was too weird, too different, but she didn't listen. Instead, she doubled down on being herself, and now she's one of the most successful and celebrated artists in the world. She didn't succeed in spite of her uniqueness, she succeeded because of it. And you can too. Final thoughts: you are one of a kind. So, here's the bottom line: you are one of a kind. No one else on this planet can do what you do in the way that you do it. Your experiences, your talents, your perspective, it all adds up to something the world needs. Don't hide it. Don't dim your light to make others comfortable. Instead, embrace your uniqueness. Own who you are. Celebrate it. The more you embrace your true self, the more doors will open for you. Life becomes more vibrant, more meaningful, and more fulfilling when you step into your uniqueness. Now here's what I want you to do next. Think of one thing that makes you unique. It could be anything, something big or something small. Now, own it, take pride in it, and if you're feeling bold, share it in the comments below. Let's create a space where we celebrate each other's uniqueness, because this world needs more of that. And while you're here, hit that subscribe button, because this is just the beginning of our journey together. Remember, you are enough, you are powerful, and you are one of a kind. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe.